Hello and welcome to Conway Video. It's been a little bit of a while since I put a video out, so I just thought, hey, probably about time to get another one cranked out. So I've been making a few moves myself, but overall, I've just been kind of taking it easy the past few days and thinking about, obviously I'm still doing my normal work, but I've been thinking about the new situation that we're all in, and thinking about how I should react. And I've been looking at different news sources and different kind of information sources as well. And so I just wanted to do a video about designing your new lifestyle in the new crisis. I don't know if I'm going to get blocked for using the C word, but we all know anyway what's going on. So I wanted to do this video a bit about what approach I'm taking. I guess broadly speaking, the approach I'm taking to this kind of thing is that it is a crisis in a way, but in a way it's also a shift. It's not a sort of temporary, short-term thing. This is going to be with us for some time, this new way of living, this new kind of situation, this new scenario that we're in. So I figure the best approach to take to this isn't just to adapt, or isn't primarily to adapt, because I think the adapting part is quite easy, right? Practice social distancing, cough into your elbow, wear a mask when you're out probably, wash your hands before you touch your face, before you eat dinner, all that sort of thing, wash your hands before any kind of meal, I think the approach more I want to take is designing, actually actively deciding, how do I want to live? How do I want to design my lifestyle now that this thing has happened and is with us for quite a while? Because it's going to be a while. It's going to be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We don't even know how long. So I would rather kind of proactively design my life now to the extent that I can to be kind of suited to this kind of situation. And so a few things I'm doing. Obviously I'm working remotely and I am adapting myself in all kinds of ways to that shift, but I'm also designing the way I work. So I'm looking at, what are good hours for me to be working? What hours of the day do I feel most productive? For me, a lot of people I've worked with would know that I'm a bit of a night owl. So, I've even earned that nickname from one of my colleagues as the night owl. So, I tend to work in the evenings, but you might find different times to work. But, deciding when that good time to work is, and then, building your lifestyle and your plans around it. And then also just having a nice clear workspace and having things set up so that you can be effective and efficient. Another thing I'm doing is kind of integrating cleaning into my routine. So obviously I'm washing my hands very regularly with soap and water. I'm counting those 20 seconds, and I think there's even an app you can get now that helps you count, but I just do it in my head. It's easy enough. And then I've also got one of these hand sanitizers. I'm going to try and get a few more, though they're a bit hard to get hold of. But these are good, I find, just generally. I can just put them on my hands at any kind of random interval and get a nice bit of a clean. Of course, soap is more effective because soap just completely removes the virus. But this hand sanitizer, it's a nice little kind of complement to that. Like, if I just have a bit of an itch on my face and I need to really quickly scratch it, it's a bit easier to do that. If I've got the hand sanitizer right there at the desk and I can just rub it on. And then the hand sanitizer is good for also just being out and about where you can't, grab a bar and soap and wash your hands. But if you do happen to be out for very brief intervals, obviously I'm not going out right now, but if and when I do go out, I'll definitely have this handy to take with me when I'm out and keep myself sanitized that way. Another thing is just basic detergent. This stuff is just soap, really, and a few other chemicals and scents and whatnot, but it's essentially soap, liquid soap. And so you can get this and get a scourer. I've got a scourer somewhere, and you can just, or a sponge or whatever you like to use, and just wipe down all your surfaces. That's what I'm doing, just wipe down all my desk, all my surfaces on a pretty regular basis. Keeping things clean and uncluttered makes that easy. You just pull the stuff and wipe underneath and then put it back and maybe wipe the thing itself as well. And that's a nice regular routine I want to get into in order to keep things clean and sanitized. And what else am I doing? I'm not going full survivalist right now, partly because my situation makes that a bit difficult, but also partly because I don't think we're going to have too much of a problem, touch wood, or don't touch wood, right? Wash your hands first. But I don't think we'll have too much of a problem with the supply of food. So far, I just haven't seen any evidence of that happening. If I see any evidence of it, of course, I'll I'll respond. But so far, I'm not seeing too much problems with food. So, but I do want to have a bit of a stockpile. So I do have at least 4 weeks worth of food. And the way I do that, I don't have to buy a huge quantities of stuff. All I have to have is two or three packs of oats, 2 or 3 tubs of peanut butter, a little bit of milk, a little bit of like flavorings, a bit of canned fish, 5 or 6 cans of canned fish, and I'm sweet. That sort of food is high calorie, high nutrient. It can last you a long time. So I really feel like if you choose the right food items, there's really no need to get like enormous cellars full of tinned beans or whatever. You can just get a small number of very high dense, nutrient dense foodstuffs, and but obviously once as I'm going to be monitoring the situation and probably building up a little bit more of a stockpile as I go. So I'm not on the side of completely just not having anything, but I'm also not on the side of having like months and months of food. The way I see it is if you want to have like months and months of food set aside, you probably really need to have like you need to have a shotgun, you need to have a pickup truck, you need to have the whole kit, right? You need to have the disaster the disaster preparedness kit completely. You need to be ready for the catastrophe, right? So like I'm nowhere near that. So but I'm going to build up what I can in order to have a supply of food. Partly because also I want to reduce and minimize my trips outdoors, right? I don't want to be going to the shops every day, every second day. I'd rather be going to the shops once a month, and have enough food to last me the week or 2 weeks. And between going to the shops now and then, and maybe going to a little grocer now and then, and maybe having some online deliveries, I feel like 2 or 3 months worth of supplies is probably enough. There's no need to go and try and get like years and years worth of supplies. So that's why I'm kind of dealing with that food side of it. What else? Money. So different people are in different situations with money. My general policy is not to sell. So in anything. At any situation that happens, whatever happens, I don't want to sell my stocks. I want to keep all my investments the same way they are, because I think that people like Peter Thornhill have said this as well. I'll put a link to him, but there's one of the worst things you can do in a market crash is to sell your assets, because that is the time when you're going to get the least amount of money for them, and it's not going to help you much anyway. Like, just to get an extra few $100s, if things are that bad, it's not really going to help you much anyway. So you want to try and avoid selling, but it's probably good if you had a bit of a stockpile of cash. And if you don't, then probably as much as you can is now's the time to build that up. I've got a certain amount of cash and a certain amount of shares or stocks, and so I'm just going to keep the investments the same as they are. I'm going to stay invested for the long term, because while this thing might be going on for a couple of years or so, I very much doubt it's going to go on longer than 5 years. So I reckon that if you've got enough cash to last you 5 years, and or you've got work that will keep you going, and then the government's got things too, like support payments. Between all those things, if you can keep going with just cash, that's a good idea, and don't sell anything. That's my policy. Just don't sell. It's simple. I'm not really in a hurry to make any new investments, because frankly, I really don't believe in timing the market. So I kind of not really changing my investment strategy a whole lot. I'm just keeping everything the same, right? I'm keeping the same percentage of my money in stocks, the same percentage in cash, and the same thing. I'll invest when the markets are good. I'll invest when the markets are down, because I know that at the end of it, the price will hopefully go up, and it will be worth it either way. So yeah, that's my policy with that. Now, self-isolation. I'm preferring to kind of have my own private place to stay and keep well clear and isolated physically, but I'm making probably more calls, more text messages, more messenger messages than ever before right now. So in a way, this is actually a good time to reconnect with people, find out what everyone's doing, and even kind of get some new things started, maybe some little side projects, some little business ideas, kicking around with different people I know. And so this is a good time, I think, to be like rethinking and maybe looking at the CV again. And that's another thing I'm doing, looking at my CV again, thinking, okay, what do I want to do? What am I trying to do with my career here? What's going on here? So it's a kind of nice little reset moment. And I really like the remote work as well. The remote work, to me, it's if there's one kind of silver lining to this whole sort of cloud of confusion, it's that remote work is achieving a level of social acceptance and broad acceptance, I think, that in the business world, the business community, that is like unprecedented. I've never seen so much support for remote work. You know, it's no longer just a fad. People are realizing that there's actually a place and a time for remote work, and I think it's great because you know, remote work is something that that can really improve productivity. It can make people more efficient. It can give people a bit of quiet space to focus and get things done. And you can monitor. People are getting better. We're getting better and better at monitoring remote work and keeping things kind of organized and that sort of thing. We've got, you know, task management systems now. We've got wikis. We've got chat rooms. We've got you know, chat rooms like Slack or whatnot. We've got like video conferencing, we've got voice conferencing. There are so many things that we can do to make remote work in many ways probably more efficient than having to go into an office and have that long commute and have to you know, wait for people to come to their desk and that sort of thing. You know, when you're remote working, the cool thing is that everyone's, you know, everyone's ready to be notified. Everyone's like, you know, a little bit on edge, I suppose, but everyone's got their phone or their tablet or their laptop at any given time. So, and the expectation in people's minds is, well, you should be contactable. And so it's, I think it's a good thing because it's for productivity, because it just means that people are a little bit more on the ball than if you're in the office, and then, you know, people might be away from their desks, they might be in the kitchen having a private conversation, and it just gets a bit harder to track. So anyway, that's my little video about adapting to the new scenario, but more importantly, designing your life. So I want to be proactive. I want to think, okay, this thing has happened. This is the new way of living. I want to make the most of this. I want to live well during this. I want to be like, okay, where are all the opportunities in this crisis, or in this, let's not say crisis, right? Let's just say this new way of living. Where are all the opportunities for me to make this work for me, to make this fun as possible, to make this as comfortable as possible? What are some clever little things I can do here and there to get my life set up the way I want in this? Because I think we're going to be in this situation for a little while now, and so I want to be proactive. I don't want to be sitting back and reacting to what the media says or what people say, or you know, what the worries come up in my mind. I want to be proactively thinking, okay, what I accept all the facts, and now, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out of it? I guess I'll just leave you with this one last thing, which is, okay, there's a problem. What am I going to do about it? It's like that other video that I posted, but it's like, you know, there's a problem, or there's a change, or there's a difference. What am I going to do about it? How am I going to respond? That's the question I always ultimately ask. What am I going to do about it? And that's what I hope you're asking too. So yeah, without further ado, enjoy the new way, and I shall see you again in a future video. Thank you.